there was a day that when I wake up, my only worry, my only concern was what I was going to eat that day. Going to school, I worry because I didn't have a pen to take note, or because I didn't have a note, because I have my school tuition hasn't been paid.
How's it been, sort of the transitional period going back from boxing to MMA?
I would say the transition was going from MMA to boxing, not from boxing to MMA, because that's not a transition. I've been doing MMA my entire career.
Have you felt like being back in the smaller gloves with the training partners, does it feel a little bit different? Like, have they been feeling it a little bit more with those smaller gloves on?
I mean, both are definitely two different trainings, which is MMA is who has their own complexity, but I'm more used in the complexity of MMA, so it's different. Yes, it feels a little difficult, maybe a risk of injuries and stuff, but overall, still feel very comfortable, just like being back home.
Yeah, and you were there for Hennon's last fight, 42nd KO. You couldn't have been closer to it. How impressed were you by his performance and his career so far?
Well, I would not say, I mean, that was a great performance. I would not say I was impressed, because I know that he was more likely to bring those performances out. I've been impressed of his performance from a long time, so I basically know what he can come up with, you know. So it wasn't like a surprise, like something that I was shocked, you know. So I've been telling people about this guy even before I signed to PFL. I'm like, this guy is something else, you know. So now that I'm going to fight him, it become more serious for me. But I've been impressed of his skills for a long time, and his style.
A lot's been made of this being for the lineal MMA heavyweight title. You never lost your UFC belt in the cage. Do you feel like you go into this as the lineal MMA champion of the world?
Honestly, I haven't think about it. I don't think about that. I think I'm focused on one thing, which is like the fight, the guy in front of me. I think I have my personal fight to fight, to be focused about stuff like that.
Sure.
You know.
A lot's changed since your last MMA fight. I mentioned the two boxing fights. It's interesting, on your podcast with Kamaru Usman, you said even after your last fight, you had to borrow money and you owed him that. I think you even referred yourself as broke. Can you just take me back to that period in your life and how much has changed since then?
I still borrow money though, so if you have some money, I'm down to take it. I still need loan. But just for your question, like I mean, things are different. You know, like there was a day that when I wake up, my only worry, my only concern was what I was going to eat that day. You know, there was a day like that in my life. Basically, like grow up. There was a day that going to school, I worry because I didn't have a pen to take note, or because I didn't have a note, you know, because I have my school tuition hasn't been paid, you know. So life involved, and doesn't mean he was that a bad day, you know. I think it was just a process, because at the end of the day, life is mostly a journey that you have to understand. Enjoy the journey. It's not a destination, because if you set a destination and then you get to destination, then what's happened? You know, it's the journey, it's the process. Everything continue. Yes, there was a day that I have to borrow money to Kamaru Usman. I might not have to borrow the same amount today, but I can still borrow, because my project get bigger and bigger. So things are changing. As a person, I'm growing. Life is moving. I have different perspective in life. You know, I have different. My ambition grows. You know, I set no limit for myself. The sky is my limit.
I'm interested. What did you need the money for? Was it training camp costs, or was it personal things?
Personal things, investment, having a house, building a house. I love houses. I love real estate. I come from a family that we never owned any house. We never had a house. Then my first thing was to build houses in different cities, and then maybe buy someone wherever I'm living. You know, make some investment. Think of my future. Think of a potential retirement plan, or in case things don't work out. You know, like I'm doing a job that I have no guarantee, no insurance. I have no guarantee of the future, of tomorrow. Everything can stop right now. So yes, you think about that. When you think about that, you need to plan things out at least like for 1, 2, 3 years or more in case happen. So you have something, you have some time to reset and start back. I think that's what every single athlete, basically combat sport, should do.
Yeah. And I saw you back in Cameroon recently. The money you earned through your boxing matches, are you putting that back home? And what did you sort of what were you up to when you went back home to Cameroon?
I don't know why you're so interested about my money. I'm hiding. I don't want you to know where is it at. I put some in. I invest some, obviously, but in different sport. I don't want you guys to know where my money is at.
Sure. Okay. We'll talk about what's next. Is it going to be MMA next, or is it potentially another boxing match for you?
What do you mean by next? Next
And
is Saturday.
after Henan, is your future in MMA or is potentially back
So far, we focus on Renan. I'm gonna have a lot of. That's gonna determine what's next, and I'm gonna see.
Yeah.
But
and how,
I cannot plan. I cannot plan something after that.
how involved will you be in sort of the future of your matchmaking? Will you still leave it to the PFL, or because of your role with sort of the head of PFL Africa, will you have more say in who you fight or not?
You say how involved am I?
Will you be involved with sort of like picking the right matchups for yourself, or will you still leave that to the promoters?
Oh, I don't pick matchup for myself. I think when the right fight happens, it happens. I mean, we can make a call out, we can decide, but I'm not a matchmaker in the PFL. I have no say about that, and I never say I do. The only thing that I have a say on it is a PFL Africa, and so far I'm not fighting in the PFL Africa. It's two different companies, PFL Global and PFL Africa.
Sure, but what I meant was when you came over to boxing, it was clear you wanted to fight Fury, you wanted to fight Joshua. Is there anyone?
Yeah, you
still...
call out a fight, but now you have you call out a fight. Like now I can say I want to fight this guy, but there is a promotion. I still fight under a promotion which is PFL, that they're gonna weigh in and see if it's right and if they can make it. Yes, I wanted to fight Joshua, or Fury, but it still wasn't my call. It was just what I want.
Sure.
But I wasn't making a decision.